Hello! Oh my goodness, live without a hitch. Let me post on Discord that I am live while opening every app on my phone other than Discord. You ever just pick up your phone and forget what you wanted to use it for? Because this is happening. Okay, let's see. All right. Man, there's a lot of hot glue on my desk. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, so for starters, you know what? Let me make sure this is focused. And like how? How do I make sure this is focused? I think that's focused. I don't know, the flowers are white, so it's kind of hard to see when they're all kind of blown out by the light. Oh, I should turn on another light. Wow, even brighter. Okay, I guess the first thing I need to do is measure my head. This is very soft wire. It's actually kind of hard to feed it through this because it keeps bending when I don't want it to bend. Hi Eugene, how are you? So I was thinking of doing a sewing stream, but I decided to do a crafting stream instead. Why? Because I already had my desk set up for crafting. Oh yeah, I have like a big reveal today as well. Oh my goodness. I have the reveal of the sign. It's actually not done yet, but I've done everything that I can do with the materials that I have. And that's all I'm gonna say for now. Okay, so I have this. Okay, I have this wire loop and I need to remember to click my camera every so often because if I don't, it'll turn off. Okay. So this is the size of my head, right here. And that's being a little generous too. Like we have some room. And I feel like it's better to go a bit bigger than to be too small, right? Because we're gonna be wrapping a lot of these flowers around around this headband, and I want to make sure that there's room for that situation. Like I want to make sure there's room for all of these florals. But yeah, to do our flower crown, I guess we'll first start with like a base that fits my head. So yeah, just doing a little wire wrapping. Let me move this lens cap out of the way. I have a lot of stuff on my desk. I don't think you can tell like how much we're dealing with here right now. Eugene says I'm currently eating a lot of White Rabbits right now. Nice. For those of you who don't know, White Rabbit is a type of candy. It's like a milk candy. I mean, I feel like that is very seasonally appropriate, seeing as Chinese New Year is in like, what, 13 days? Yo, I need to post. I say this all the time. I need to post my Chinese Zodiac series. Like, okay. I'm gonna hold myself to it. Like, tomorrow I'll start posting the Chinese Zodiac series, and then there's gonna be one every day on my Instagram because I need to get them out. I need to write descriptions for all my posts, and I think like that's the hardest part for me, is writing the descriptions, because even though I have them all, like I know what their personalities are and everything, like I just don't like writing it down. Hi Kevin! How are you? Oh, hang on, my phone is here, right? I'm gonna charge it. It's like, oh, running out of battery. Yeah, I have everything here. I even have a Dremel. You're all right? Eugene says, I'm thinking of making some butternut squash soup tomorrow. Yo, I just had like a pumpkin lentil soup. It was pretty good. Final exams start Friday. Ew. Right, you guys have a longer school year, so when you return from like winter vacation, it's still the same semester as when you left, I think. But yeah, you know what, I should tell the Discord that I have the light up sign reveal, because that's what I'm gonna do in a bit. Also, you can see me typing on Discord. Okay. Wow. Okay, this wire is not it. Like, it's pointy on the end, so I'm gonna have to wrap it in something and try to keep those pointy ends from being too much of a hazard. So we have our base for our flower crown right now, and it fits on my head. Fits pretty well. It's like a little loose, actually. There's like 2 fingers of space on either side, but I think that should work just fine for anchoring all of our flowers on. Okay, so first to start we have these 2 strands of baby's breath. Okay, I'm gonna need to sacrifice something, like one of the lights. Okay. Don't think I'll be using that one. So the problem with the baby's breath is like these little nubbins keep coming off, so maybe we'll just work with that. And rip all the nubbins off. I don't know what to call them, like the little buds just keep falling off. Because they were kind of poorly hot glued onto this. So maybe I rip them all off and then I glue them back. Like maybe that's what we do. I'm looking for a pair of scissors. Okay. Just gotta pull the price tag off. So yeah, this is the big issue with, whoa, where'd that go? That one flew away. And yeah, that's the big issue with this baby's breath that I got from Walmart. It's like coming off. Or alternatively, maybe we don't go that route and then we weave these in among everything else. I don't know. Or maybe we do that for one of them, like weave them in, and for the other one, we glue everything back on. I think I'm down for that, like a combination. So the benefit of not gluing everything back down is you get like a more airy look, and you have a lot more control over where you place these spots. And the benefit to having it all on this stem is it looks really full. So if you can imagine this, whoa, if you can imagine this, just, wow, this is gonna ruin my hair today. Like here, maybe that's too full, like maybe that's too much. I don't know. And we have like daisies as well. Wow, this really hurts to like pull out of my hair. I don't know. Okay. I don't think we can have, whoa, this just fell off. Yikes. Like the whole thing just peeled off the back of this leaf, so we'll have to glue it back on. Okay. I'm gonna just cut these leaves off and we can use them later. Yeah, I don't really know where I'm going with this. I knew today was gonna be a more disorganized stream, but like regardless of what I did, it's just one of those days where we're just working on the fly. I might need a stronger pair of pliers. I don't think this is gonna cut it. Okay, we need a stronger pair of pliers. I will be right back. It's time to bring out the big boys. The big pliers. Okay. That is not focused. What is that? Okay. Hi, Jeremy! Okay, so all we have for our flower crown right now is this circular base. But yeah, big pliers. Okay, come on. The problem with this is that the width of it is really like a lot. Like they're just thick this way. So it's kind of hard to get them in between here. But yeah, this is good. We're just breaking this up into little parts that we can use. Okay, awesome. And I want to be a bit more strategic about the leaves, so I'm just going to cut those off elsewhere. I'm not going to put the leaves where you want me to put the leaves. I'm going to put the leaves like where the manufacturer wants me to put the leaves. I'm going to put them wherever I want. Hi, Kirby! Oh my goodness, so many people are showing up. I can't wait to show you guys the giant light up sign. I just want like a few more people in the chat first so that I can do the big reveal with more people. This is such a big moment for me. Like, I'm actually so proud of this sign. Okay, cool. Now this one's easy because there's no little nooks and crannies to get this in. The hot glue gun is plugged in. I should be mindful of that. It's a pity that I have to have my keyboard out, but I'm gonna use it to put leaves on. So Jeremy, just a heads up, I might need you to help shout people out, and that includes yourself at some point. Because I don't think I'm gonna have access to my keyboard for this stream. Oh, that had wire inside. Okay. Hi, Bunny! I heard you had your first stream yesterday. How did it go? Okay, see, like, this is bad. Like, I don't know if you can see that. Like, this is peeling off. That is not in focus. Okay. Like, this just came off. We can't have that happening when I bend the flowers. So maybe I don't have these stems at all. Maybe I sew the flowers onto the crown. I don't know. Cause like, okay, maybe that just happened to that one, right? I don't know. I haven't made a flower crown since I was, what, like in 10th grade? And the last time I did it, it didn't even look that good, so I don't know. I'm just doing the best I can right now. I'm just doing my best, okay? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying. All right. So, everything's just everywhere. This is awful. This is so disorganized. Gotta peel off all this excess glue. The thing is, this isn't hot glue. Jeremy says, how was your day? Kirby just finished making her Discord server. That's super cool. I finished as much of the light up sign as I can. I need more light packs, actually. I had a feeling that I would need to use some of like the smaller lights, like a different type of light that isn't remote controlled. But I didn't realize that I would need more of like the big packs of lights. So yeah, basically I had to stop because I ran out of materials, but it like you can get a pretty good idea of how it's gonna look when it's finished. Okay. So yeah, I'm just incredibly happy that I'm almost done with the lights and that I'm able to show you guys what it looks like all lit up. Okay, this is very unwise. I'm gonna put on some finger caps. I know they're kind of dumb looking, but you know, whatever. Because I don't want to burn my fingers. Bunny says, oh, what a mess. I made a bee farm and it was bees all over the place. Jeremy says it's gonna be lit. Yes. Okay, yeah, these are silicone finger caps, and when you're working with hot glue, they're super helpful because keeps you from burning your fingertips, which happens a lot, or it happened a lot before I got these. So instead of pinching these with my actual fingers to flatten the hot glue or pinch off the excess, I can just grab it with my hands. Kirby says, is the bee farm working right now? I have been using your farm manually. Yeah, I have like... Yeah, there's a bee farm in Khonshu's old castle that can like barely be called a bee farm. But basically, one of the bees got out, and I haven't told anybody this because I was too embarrassed. But one of the bees got out, and then I was like, okay, what if I wait until nighttime and the bee goes back? What? Why aren't there any bees there? No, there's supposed to be bees there. I bred them until there were like 30. What happened? No, there should be bees. Oh, I'm scared now. Okay. What happened to my bees? But yeah, no, I let out one and then I waited for it to come back, so like 5 escaped. And then I sat there for like an hour and I bred them back until we had a bunch again. So I am certain that there were bees at some point. This makes me worried, like this upsets me. But yeah, I can just grab the hot glue with my hands. It's a good time. But yeah, this is a blurry time as well, so I need to remember to constantly adjust my camera's focus. Is this in focus? Yeah, sure. Kirby says, I played on the server the whole day today. Nice. I can't wait to go back and see what you guys have been working on. But yeah, basically, if I didn't individually glue back all of these, it would, all the flowers would fall off all the time, and I can't have that. Like, I did a costume once where I didn't glue down parts of it properly, and I was dressed up for Halloween as the Milky Way. Jeremy wants to build a drowned farm. Yeah, that way you'll have tridents for everybody and yourself, because I remember you said like every time someone joins the server I try to give them a trident. What was I talking about? Yikes, what was I talking about? But yeah, for my Halloween costume, I left a trail of stars because I was dressed as like a galaxy. And I had a bunch of like gold stars all over my costume. So for days when I was walking that route, I would find like gold stars like on the sidewalk that led up to the party. This feels gross on my fingers. It's like really, it's really sweaty. Don't like it. I'm gonna switch to a looser size. I should have put this on something, because last night when I was gluing the lights on, I got a whole bunch of hot glue on my desk. I should really be using a silicone mat, but you know, I just like to jump into things. I get excited, I don't plan, I don't prep my space properly, you end up with giant hot glue streaks on your desk. You need to scrape it off with your fingernails the next day. Also, why aren't my sleeves rolled up, you know? I'm gonna ruin the sweater if I don't roll up my sleeves. Okay. I mean business. Eugene says, Jeremy, when would you be streaming The Waking of the Winds? Okay, I think in about... Jeremy's gonna take a break from Wind Waker tomorrow, maybe? Is it because every night after you stream Wind Waker, you end up staying up all night to upload the VOD? Okay, now, what was I thinking about? Yeah, I think in 5... Oh, no, Kevin has to leave soon. Okay. Okay. We're switching over to Just Face. We're gonna do a sign reveal because this needs to happen. Okay. How am I gonna do this? It's a big sign. I don't know who's gonna fit. Okay. Okay. So I have this part. Oh my goodness, it's backwards. You guys! Yeah, it is flipped. I can't do anything about that. But yeah, I'll post pictures in the chat. Yeah. I prefer to have my video camera flipped so that if I gesture to my left, it goes left on the screen. I'm pretty nervous about this. I feel like I could try to flip it now. Oh my gosh. Should I really be doing this? No. I take it back. I'm not gonna flip it. I'm not gonna flip it. But what if I flipped it? Okay, hang on. Transform. Sometimes when I do this, it crashes my stream. So if my stream crashes, you know, like, you know what happened. Okay, cool. Cool. We'll get out of the way. Hey! Do you guys like it? Okay, hang on, let's see. What can I do with this? Ah! Bunny says it looks super cool with the lights. Kevin says, whoa, it's now dimple cheeks. Yeah, with like one S. Yeah, it's like the remote controlled. Imagine if I just left it here for the entire stream. Oh my goodness, it's so chaotic. Kevin says it's alive. Yeah. But yeah, I'm so beyond happy with this. I think it's great. I don't really think this is gonna show that much in the camera. Let's see. And I'm also gonna flip this back because I prefer being able to gesture in the right direction. Maybe I shouldn't be such a big baby and just be okay with not looking in the right direction. I don't know. Yeah, I guess you can kind of see it. It's just backwards. What's like a mullet, Bunny? Bunny says all party in the back. Okay. What happened? Oh, this flower lost the backing. These flowers are like kind of flimsy. And I need to glue it back together. That's not good. Kevin says cheeks, but backwards. Yeah. I realize that if I have this in the background of my streams, it's gonna be like there. I don't know. Maybe from now on, I'll have like, you know, my Just Face camera that shows more of my background. I'll have that be flipped so that it's like words are legible, but then for everything else I'll be mirror viewed. Bunny says, are you making a flower crown? Yeah, I totally am. So I don't know if you guys remember the outfit that I had planned for the show. You know, the dress that I'm making still, well, I'm making a light up flower crown to go along with it, so yeah, that's what we're working on today. I have a really early morning tomorrow, which is kind of nerve-wracking. I have to take someone to the airport, which is sad because they're not going to be back for a very long time. It's always tough to be far away from family. I mean, I'll live, you know, but it's hard when your family is far. But yeah, I have to like leave the house by 7 tomorrow. Should I even sleep? I mean, I've been staying up that late anyways just to play The Sims. I mean, I'm probably not even gonna go into the airport because it's not advisable to go places. I'm probably just gonna be there to see her off. But yeah, the first thing I want to do is permanently glue these flowers back onto the stem so that I can use the full stem in my flower crown without the flowers falling off. This glue gun has seen me through so many projects. Like, I've had this glue gun since probably before I was born. Kevin says sleep is necessary. You know what? You're right. I shouldn't stay up all night for this. Kevin says, Jeremy says, I've had this glue gun since before I was born. Yeah, this glue gun has had me since I was born, more accurately. Jeremy says, if it's older than you, do you have a glue gun or does it have you? Hey, great minds think alike. At least I'm pretty sure it's older than me. Maybe it's not, I don't know. Kevin says collective ownership. Yeah, I have all these little blobs of glue all over my desk right now, and they're like dangling from my fingers. This is really messy. Kind of gross. See, like, I don't know if you can see that. Like that blob of glue. Shake it off my hands. Kevin says it's a symbiotic relationship. Honestly, I don't really see what I'm doing for this glue gun. Like, there's lint on it, there's feathers on it, there's pieces of cardboard, there's burn marks. Like, this glue gun has been through some stuff and it's just surviving. Like, I don't know what what I'm doing for it. Bunny says it's always summertime feels with Dimple. Yeah. Okay, we should be back now. I just had to turn my battery back on. Let me attempt to, I don't think there's a way to remove the battery without taking the whole camera off. Kevin says, what is a dimple stream without a little scuff? Sad but true. Sad but true. Okay, let me try to charge the other battery. I mean, I saw this coming. Especially today, I just knew today's stream was gonna be like really scuffed because with everything I'm working on, like no matter what I choose, it's gonna be one of those streams where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, what am I doing, you know? Whether I picked dressmaking, flower crown, drawing, anything, you know, it would just be a big experiment. Jeremy says, why would you say something so controversial yet so brave? Yeah, instant ban. How dare you call my stream scuffed? I'm gonna like remove, see how easy it is for these to come off? I'm pretty sure I have less flour than I paid for because I'm sure bits of these dropped off in the store. Like, I was robbed. And this was like weirdly expensive for what it is too. But yeah, I'm so glad I decided to put on these like silicone finger caps, and they match my project too. I'm so pleased with it. Because I can feel the heat just from that little blob of glue through the caps, and I don't want to imagine what would happen. Like, if I just got hot glue on my bare skin on stream, like in person, you know, like, no, sorry, off stream, I just cry about it a little bit, you know, like, You get a bad burn. It's fine. I just don't want to cry on stream. Like, oh, we lost one. Okay. Okay, what I'm gonna do is cut this right here, and put the glue gun aside so I don't burn myself. And I'm gonna try to maybe cut this on an angle. I don't know if I can do that because of the way it's shaped. No, I can't do it. Okay. What the heck? It's gonna take a few tries. Okay, there we go. Yeah. And then I'm gonna bend this into like roughly a curved shape. And I guess I can use like green wire to fix this on. I don't know. What am I doing? Like, actually, what am I doing? Because I genuinely don't know at this point. Yikes. I thought Nightbot was one of you guys at first, and I was like, oh, what's this? Okay, maybe I cut this apart further and we don't do one full branch, because when I tried it, like one full branch looked a little crazy right in the front. Oh wow, the wires are just coming off. Wait, I can just pull this whole thing apart. Bunny says, do you have any summer festivities in Canada? Eugene says Nightbot is just a really good mod. Nightbot is an okay mod. Sometimes it's a little harsh because it has no sense of, you know, when Jeremy had let Nightbot mod, it deleted a lot of things and banned a lot of people. Now, what was I gonna say? Yeah, Canada Day is in the summer, so I guess that's one summer festivity. Okay, cool. Now, right. I don't know what to do. I have green wire, but like not a lot of it. So I'm not sure if I should use that because I just have this one like tiny little roll of it. So maybe, maybe I just wrap this around it and like intertwine it with the crown, but I don't want to do that too much because then it's gonna like, this is supposed to be the guide for the size of my head. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Somebody help me. I need an adult. I need adult supervision. I'm working with like sharp tools and hot glue. Yikes. Okay. Yeah, maybe I get another thing of wire and I anchor this on. Oh, Kevin has to go now. All right, I'll post pictures in the Discord of the finished product. Bunny says the flower crown reminds me of how we celebrate midsummer in Sweden. Yeah, I remember from like back in the summertime. I'm in some makeup groups and a lot of people were posting their midsummer looks. Oh my goodness, this is too much wire. Okay, okay, all right. I'm wrap this around, and then I take this. Eugene, Bunny has told you he's from Sweden before. Y'all were talking about it. Sorry, you guys cannot see what I'm doing because I'm like holding it up to my face. Okay. I feel like I'm battling with it. You asked him the same thing. It's fine. I'm forgetful too. Okay, Eugene says I'm so forgetful right now. Yeah, relatable. I get that too. The other day, Rowan's roommate was here on stream, and then I was like, oh my goodness, your name seems familiar. Do I know you from Jeremy's stream? And then Rowan was just laughing the entire time because like this is someone I actually know in real life. And then he was like, haha, she forgot you. She doesn't know who you are. Eugene says, every time I see people say they are from another place, I just get so excited. Yeah, me too. I love hearing where people are from in my chat. I've lived in the province of Ontario, in Toronto, in the Toronto area, in Canada for like my whole life. I almost substituted Canada for Toronto. Oh my goodness, this came off. Like, does glue just not stick to this? What happened here? Like, I almost called Canada Toronto. I mean, should be able to excuse that for me because I'm pretty preoccupied right now. Things are falling off my desk. Be careful not to call our country by our city name. Just kidding. Gotta be careful not to say that Toronto is the only place in Canada because the Vancouverites are gonna come after me. Jeremy says Canada is my city. Okay, cool. I like this. This is cute. Now I just have to do that for the rest of this. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'll make this my center. I'll have like a greater concentration of flowers leading up this way. I'll double up on this side like this. Okay, I think things are starting to make sense. And I'm glad that Eugene says you don't want the Canadian FBI knocking on your door. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have like some of the flowers going in this direction and the other flowers going like this way. So they'll kind of come to a point in the middle. It'll be subtle, but you know, I'll know about it. I'll know that I did it. And I like it a lot better than the look of all the flowers going like in the same direction. Did you know that they don't sell a lot of fake flowers in the winter at Walmart? Bunny says, is the Canadian FBI on horses? Well, about that, so we have the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and as their name suggests, they are on horseback. Eugene says, I got a question for everyone here. Why do we say he's waiting at the traffic light and not he's waiting beside the traffic light? I think both make sense too, yeah. Maybe it's because at has fewer syllables, and colloquially it makes sense, like in slang it makes sense, but also we don't say like when someone is at a certain location, we don't say they're beside a location a lot of the time. Like say he's waiting at the school versus he's waiting beside the school has like different connotations. So it could be that. It could just be like the traffic light is treated as like a location instead of an object. So if you're talking about it like a location, it doesn't make sense to say beside. I don't know, this is just my guess. My honest, uneducated guess. So if you're looking at the traffic light as an object, I think it would be beside, and then if you look at it as like a place, then it would be at. I don't know. That's a really cool question. Okay, I'm a little stuck in this spot because, sorry, like you guys cannot see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna take this wire nub and try to tuck it in so that I don't scratch my forehead trying to put on the flower crown, because that would not be very high fashion of me. Eugene says, a person asked this in my German class and I thought it was a very good question. Cool. Okay, I have this piece of wire here. And what I'm gonna do is, yeah, oh wait, this is a lot. This is a lot. This is a very high density of flowers in a small spot. Okay. But yeah, yesterday I was working on the lights and I almost burned my wrist on the hot glue gun. Like, somebody needs to get me full silicone gloves. Because I had my wrist really close to it and I felt the heat. That's what alerted me. It's like, hey, my desk shouldn't be that warm. I'm probably gonna have to go in with like ribbon or something and wrap this because I'm sure was I gonna say? I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of really pointy wire pieces sticking out, and yeah, I don't want to hurt myself. Bunny says, a glue gun is such a fun tool to use, especially when you glue yourself stuck to things. You know, I don't really have that much experience with getting stuck to things with glue gun. Super glue maybe, but not so much hot glue. But there was one time that I was making a cosplay. The person I made this cosplay for was like not worth it either. Oh my goodness. But that's that's tea for another party. Yeah. I regret making cosplays for this person. Anyways, so I was making this cosplay and I was gluing these really heavy pieces together, and I didn't have any clamps or anything, so I just had to use my hands to hold the pieces together while the hot glue cooled. And oh my goodness, like I literally like burned a hole in my arm. Like, Eugene says, I hope I'm invited to that tea party. I will DM you. Yeah, I don't want to like talk about it publicly online to too many people because like I do know this person. Yeah. Bunny said, do not try it at home, kids. Yeah, well, you actually said do try it at home, but do not try that. Always use, you know, good PPE. Get clamps or something, you know, like it was not smart. I have like a Snapchat of myself and it's just like, somebody help me hold this hot glue. Like, I don't know, I was holding it with like both my hands and like my arms and stuff or something, I don't know, but I managed to get a picture of myself being miserable about getting burned. But yeah, I don't want to make this like a, I don't know, I don't like when I mention events that happen, like when I get injured or something, and then people try to make it a contest about like who has had the gnarliest injury, because I don't want to like glamorize getting injured at the workplace. I think that's like, it's not cool. It means you're doing something wrong and it's unsafe, you know, so this is not a cool story. This is a bad story. This is about a time when I wasn't very smart. But yeah, I don't like when people make it some kind of like contest of suffering. It's like, oh yeah, well, I did this even dumber thing. Oh yeah, well, I did this. And just like that's not something to boast about. So yeah, take that story as a warning to think of a smarter way to hold two items together when there's dripping hot glue. And don't do what I did. Okay, here you go. Here's part of our base. I'm really happy with this actually. I really like this. Okay. I'm gonna try to make the front as pretty as possible before I do anything on the back, because I think that's how I want to do this. Oh my goodness, I can just rip the flowers apart. I don't even need to cut them. Okay, so this is the front. I don't know if I want to have like a flower right at the front. I think that's kind of crazy looking. Okay, let's see. What do I do? What do I do? I'm lost. I'll also like this flower popped out of its casing and I want to try to get it back in. Jeremy says 1 hour. I think it's time for a water break. Okay, we'll have a tea break instead because I don't have my water bottle. Hydrate or dihydrate, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna wait for that tea to cool for a bit. Okay. Tea will suffice, yeah. I mean, at least it's an herbal tea, so it's pretty healthy. What are we doing here? Also, I don't know why... Yeah, this confuses me. The camera confuses me. Okay. How am I gonna do this? I don't know what I'm doing. Like, clearly I don't know what I'm doing, but, like, I don't know what I'm doing. There's a few ways that I could attach this, right? If I fold this over, it could potentially cause strain and, like, snap the flower head over time. So maybe what I'll just do is cut it off here, right? And then thread wire through and mount it on. I could just do that. No, I could just do that. Like, if it's gonna snap eventually anyways, I might as well just snap it off now. And then we'll, like, glue the backing on. Okay, cool. I feel like I had a piece of wire here somewhere, but I don't remember where I put it. It's here, okay. Is that long enough? I don't know. I don't know if you can tell, I'm not following a tutorial or anything. I'm literally just figuring it out as I go along. So honestly, this is as real as it gets. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna clip the wire underneath here. Maybe I should have added some glue too. I don't know. Oh, no, maybe I could do it like here in this layer and I put like glue in. And then I put the wire under all of these leaves. Whoa! If the camera times out while I'm doing this, like, so be it. I'm not gonna let the camera time out while I do this. I'm stressed. The glue is drying. Okay, that's not going anywhere. Ta-da! Little flower with a wire stem. I should have left more wire, but oh well, you know. Oh well. It is what it is. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this over and try my best to navigate this forest of flowers so I can thread my wire through. There's a lot happening here. I can't handle it. What the heck? Honey says, where did you buy the flowers? So some of them I got from Walmart and some of them I just got off of Amazon because I couldn't find them in many places. Funny enough. If it had been convenient for me to go to the dollar store, Sorry, I'm like struggling right now. I would have gone to the dollar store to look for flowers, but alas, I do not drive, which is a necessity in these parts. I don't know why I don't drive. I know why I don't drive. I don't drive because I'm scared of driving, but, you know, I should drive. Jeremy says, Bunny says Canadian IKEA. We have IKEA here. Yeah. IKEA is very global. Or I think as IKEA? Is that how you're supposed to say it? I know that's how they say it in Japan, and I've heard that that's a little closer to how it's said in Sweden than IKEA. Educate us, Bunny. How do you pronounce IKEA? Fun fact, actually, when I was in furniture design, IKEA was one of my big inspirations because they sell some really good quality modular furniture. IKEA, thank you. Thank you, Eugene. Okay, I'm gonna do this in a smarter way. You know, we make a flower, we improve the next time. So what I'm gonna do is grab my wire, twist a loop here. Really messy loop. And I'm gonna push this nub through it. Very technical terms. Now this is gonna be really sturdy if I manage to get this through. Oh my goodness, I've ruined it. I made the loop too small. Come on, get in there. Do as you're told. There you go. Thank you. Thank you for your cooperation. Come on. Okay, cool. But yeah, in first year, when you're in, you know, carpentry school, furniture making school, whatever you want to call it, you hear about a big company like, I'm just gonna say it the North American way, IKEA, and then you're like, wow, I wonder if I'm gonna make it one day and be able to work for something big like that, designing furniture and household items. Okay, now we have like a two-legged flower. It has like two little wire legs. Okay. And how am I gonna do this? I don't want it to sit so close to the other flowers. Like, I want there to be some room. Oh my goodness. Bunny says, like Skylink says it a little longer on the vowels, IKEA. I feel like I'm doing it wrong. I mean, I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Okay. It's not the A sound, is it? Like, is that it? E, key, ah. Okay. Thank you. Eugene says I can IPA it. Thank you. That would actually be really helpful. Thank you. For those of you who are wondering, not IPA beer, IPA International Phonetic Alphabet, I think, is what it stands for. E. Oh my goodness. This is so difficult. Okay. I forgot what the difference between A and is, but I think it's icky, help us. Someone help. There are diacritics on it. Somebody help me.
This is how you pronounce IKEA in Swedish. IKEA. 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 IKEA.
Top 10 most iconic dimple cheek stream moments. Wait, I'm gonna put this on. Wow. Okay, we need a lot more happening on the side. Ah! Eugene says that's the IPA for it. Okay, yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Okay, yeah. Because I was so convinced it was like key as in the actual key, like for your door. So when I saw the IPA, I was like, did I forget my IPA? Or does that say what I think it says? Rip. Okay, I need to study up. Like for absolutely no reason other than I just like to be able to know how to pronounce things. Ikea. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I learned something new today. That was great. Oh, where's that? Oh my goodness, I glued this back without putting this green thing down. Okay. There's gonna be so much wire on this. Yeah, not the E sound, but like an A sound. Yeah, isn't A also sometimes like this in IPA? Okay, we put down the fabric. Eek. That's hot. Should probably check what my battery's at in a bit. Like, I feel like it's important to know what percentage I'm at with that. Ugh, I need to sneeze. The diphthong? I don't know. I need to study my IPA again. Maybe the diphthong? I don't know. It's like a... I don't know anymore. I've forgotten. How did I go from being able... Like, I used to just write all my journal entries in IPA as best as I could, just phonetically, and now I just don't remember any of it. I feel so ashamed. Because EI would make a funny sound. Okay, I forget. I'm so embarrassed. Mainly because I think 15-year-old Joni would be really upset. Jeremy says, you guys and your phonemes. No, just Eugene. At this point, I'm not worthy. Like, I think 15-year-old me would be really upset for losing this skill. She'd be like, how could you? You were supposed to practice. Okay, we have like a trio. I keep trying to turn it around to show you guys. We have like a trio of flowers in the front. This is looking really pretty. Now I just have to intersperse flowers all along the sides. Jeremy says, Eugene, you should learn how to use Court typewriters. Eugene says it would sound like A. Yeah, we need like a lot more volume on the side because right now it's just very forward. Ugh, I cringe every time I take this off my head. Like, how much hair did I just lose like that? That hurts. It's just a very generally unpleasant feeling, which is why I need to wrap this with ribbon or something as much as I can after this because, yeah, it's not it. Jeremy says, layers in a Dimple Cheeks art stream? No way. Oh my goodness. I should have a layers emote. Speaking of emotes, I really need to work on mine. By the way, like, I don't know why I'm so picky about everything I make, but for some unhinged reason, I'm not completely happy with my emotes yet. Jeremy says, stenographers have special keyboards that let them type as fast as people talk. You know what? I should ask my friend. I think he's a stenographer. He does like court transcriptions. And from what I remember, what he had to do to be like certified to do that was basically like take a typing test to prove that he could type really fast. I think he had to take like a course on it. Eugene says, time to attempt mastery in a week. Okay. Eek. Where'd my wire go? Bunny says, so you should teach us something in a different language. Well, what would you like? I know like that much French and like that much Mandarin and Cantonese. Like I'm conversational in Mandarin and Cantonese, but not in the way one would expect, because sometimes with like, sometimes I just say one thing by saying a bunch of other things. Like I wanted to say rhinoceros in Cantonese. Like I was trying to talk about them with my grandma and I didn't know how to say rhinoceros, so I said that big animal that lives in the river with the horns. You know, the horn on its nose? Like that's what I called it, you know? Like I didn't know the word for rhinoceros. I just knew how to say big animal river in Africa with the horn. It's endangered. Eugene says, I learned how to write some stuff in Chinese. Yeah? Not gonna lie, Eugene, whenever you type to me in Cantonese, I learn something new because I only know how to type in Mandarin. But yeah, I'm basically making like a flour sandwich. Not the type of flour you can eat. Plastic flour sandwich. Okay. Wow, this is like surprisingly warm. Okay. Get this hot glue out of the way, and it looks like we need another flour here, but maybe we bring that down a bit. Jeremy says, the only thing I learned to write was tofu and I've already forgotten it. Don't you know how to write your name, Jeremy? I feel like even I know how to write your name. But I'm not gonna tell your name on stream. Eugene says, because of the writing systems course I'm taking, so now I can write some traditional words. Oh my goodness, I barely know traditional Chinese. Bunny says, just a word would be great. Okay. Bunny is 兔子 in Mandarin and 头仔 in Cantonese. So that's tu with like a downwards and zi with like that deep gravelly tone. 兔子. 头仔 in Cantonese. 头仔. I don't know how to explain the tones in Cantonese. And choy in Cantonese is vegetables. So Eugene says tofu. That's tofu. Yeah. Or bean curd. Okay, I like this positioning. I like this here. Let me try this on. So if your username, if the choy part was Cantonese, it would be bunny vegetable. And if we said that in Mandarin, that would be 兔子菜, which doesn't sound very good because Thai is also, yeah, like spelled, written like that. Because Thai is also a way to say a dish. So that would roughly kind of sound like rabbit dish, as in like you serve it, which is not good. Like, cause vegetable can be used to say food in general or like dishes in general. Bai Thai is bok choy, right? Okay, I'm gonna put this on my head and hope I don't regret it. Okay, yeah, see how that's already filling out on this side? Like, it already looks lopsided here, and after just adding one flower, I'm really happy with this. It feels so gross every time I take this off my head. Like, it feels like Velcro sticking. It's just a generally unpleasant feeling. Like, this is so floppy because there's no wire in it. Jeremy says, you know what, I thought about it and I don't even think I remember the second character of my Chinese name. I should go find that out. I'll let you go find that out because I remember, but I'm not gonna dox you. Okay, I'm gonna expose myself real quick. Jeremy says, I think I know it, but I'm not confident that it's correct. Okay, the reason I know is because in like 6th grade, I wanted to know what everyone's Chinese name was. So I knew one of our friends' Chinese names, but I didn't, like, you knew your name, but you didn't know how to write it. So I think what happened is Gala had to write me a note and send it to me through you. Like, you had to bring the note to school. And then in my journal, I was like, I learned someone else's Chinese name today, and then I wrote your name in my journal. So that is why I remember. I was a weird child, because I used to, like, keep, oh my goodness. Yeah, I used to keep, like, a book just full of, like, facts about my friends so that I wouldn't forget, just in case. Like, things that they mentioned they liked or things like that. Jeremy says, there's no way I didn't actually know my Chinese name at the time because I still went to Chinese school. Lol. Okay, maybe Gala didn't have to help you with that. I feel like that would be not good. Oh, I just glued this on backwards, but you know what? Let's experiment a bit, you know? Oh my goodness, this doesn't look good. Look, it's like a cup. No, we're not experimenting a little bit. We're gonna glue the flower the way it was meant to be glued, which is this way. Eugene says, legit, my Chinese writing systems textbook was like, translate this English food to Chinese. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll at least know how to write and read Chinese menus now. I mean, you know what? That's a flex if anything, because sometimes when I'm at Chinese restaurants, I'll just like look at the menu and I'll be like, I would like the number 4, you know? And then the waitress will look at the menu and be like, the 4? Ah, yes. Okay. 扬州炒饭. Yes. Okay, cool. This is assembled. We have our little flower stuck to this wire. I can't read that. I can only read the tofu. So you had to write that? Okay. So since this flower was down, we want to balance this out, and like this one will be up. Try to insert this wire through some of the holes here. I know you can't see what's happening because there's like too many petals in the way. Which is shredded chicken stir fry with bean curds. Is it like Chao Gai Si Dao Fu or something. Eugene says, I have horrible writing. It looks like I'm drawing more than writing. Okay, let's test this. Every time I put on a flower, I think I might want to test it, just to gauge where I want the placement for the next set. Oh my goodness, this is pretty cool. Let's go back to just face. Okay, and I'm gonna take this, and this is gonna be the end of an era, because I'm gonna click transform. Oh, I never drank the tea. I was waiting for it to cool. Benny says Chinese is such a cool language. Yeah, I think so too. Okay, now my stream name. Jeremy says the crown looks good. Yeah, just wait until I add lights into it. This is like an excessive amount of flowers, I feel, but you know what? I like excess, and I can't figure out which way to turn my head because this is my left hand, but it's on the right of my screen. Okay, so if I need to add way more flowers here. My ponytail is doing a weird thing. I need to add a lot more here so it's like even throughout the whole crown. Okay, let's have some water. Jeremy says, personally, I am not a fan of how Mandarin sounds, but I think that the characters look nice. The characters are the same, Jeremy. It's just one is simplified writing and one is traditional writing. Cantonese and Mandarin written are pretty much the same. There are just some words that exist in Cantonese that don't exist in Mandarin, and likewise. But for the most part, written it is the same and pronounced it is different, and yeah. You mean all the Chinese characters? Okay. Okay, that makes like a lot more sense. Sorry for the roast. But spoken Mandarin you dislike? Oh my goodness. Bold take. I think both Mandarin and Cantonese sound nice. I mean, they sound familiar to me. Eugene says you wrote it wrong? Oh no. Did you write it that way on your homework? No, you're fine. Okay. Yeah, both sound familiar and like home to me because I have like family that speaks predominantly Mandarin, and I also have family that speaks predominantly Cantonese. Eugene says I lied, never mind, it's good. Okay. Maybe we don't want it like too puffy here, like maybe we want it this to be more in and like this kind of overlapping instead of like this. So it's like staggered like that, and then if I shove this behind, it's more like this, and the flowers sit more in like a straight line. I might want the flowers to sit more in a straight line because, I don't know, having it... Oh, Mariko, thank you so much for the follow. Hello. Welcome to the channel. Yeah. I like this, but I can feel a piece of wire like poking into my head and I don't like that. Aw, hello Marco! Let me know if I'm saying your name right. It is stuck to my hair. Okay. Eugene says, that is sliced fish stir fry with Chinese cabbage. Marco says, or should I say ni hao? Yeah, we're having a whole conversation about like Chinese and like Chinese writing right now and different languages. It all started because of because we were talking about how to say IKEA in Swedish, which is IKEA. Something to that effect. I know I'm not doing the vowels long enough. I'm saying your name right? Okay, that's great. And then Bunny was like, oh, how do you say, like, can you teach me some Chinese then? So then we just started talking about it. Marika says, I love traditional Chinese. Yo, I'm so bad at writing traditional Chinese. Like, I only learned simplified and I don't have like the memory space to store all those extra strokes. Monaco says, learning to write Chinese is so much fun. Yeah. I feel like I've picked up a lot more Chinese just from like texting my grandma, because we talk about the games that she plays on her phone and like what she did that day and things like that. And we'll just text each other and it's nice. And through talking to her, I feel like I've gotten a little better at writing. Or at least typing. I mean, I don't really think typing counts as writing because you don't really have to remember. Okay, maybe I don't need that much wire. But yeah, I'm making a flower crown for an outfit that I want to wear to my first art show. My art show is happening in April. I'm super excited. In person, I'll be having my exhibit in downtown Toronto, but it's actually available via live stream for all ticket holders. So even if you live in Toronto but you don't really want to go to the in-person event, or it's like too far, you could attend via live stream. And it's available for everyone globally as well. I tried to read that in Chinese before I realized that was not what you were writing. What did you type in the first one? Marco says, no, I'm Vietnamese. I just love to learn Chinese and Japanese. Oh my goodness. I love learning about Vietnamese culture as well. Oh my goodness. The glue is drying before... Okay. Eugene says, are you Japanese language? I see. Are you the entire language? Okay. Bunny says, I might add Chinese to my Duolingo classes. I don't know if they have Cantonese, but I know they have Mandarin for sure. Oh my goodness. Why am I like slightly out of breath from wrapping the wire? It's just because the wire is really stiff. Monica says, Dimple, do you speak Cantonese? Yes, I speak both Cantonese and Mandarin. I have family from, like, one side of my family is from Hong Kong, and the other side of my family is from Singapore. It's so cool. Thank you. Bunny is learning Polish at the moment. I feel like that's really useful living in Europe. I hate this. I am so, like, there's so much stuck here, like sticking out here, and there's so much wire that every time I try on the headband, it just sticks in my hair. I mean, I'm glad I have my hair in a ponytail because it's not like pulling that much hair out, but this sucks. Martha says, I used to live in Hong Kong for 2 months. I absolutely love it and want to come back for traveling. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't have a lot of family that is still living in Hong Kong, so I haven't been to visit for more than for more than a few days. And I just feel like that isn't long enough to see, like, to really appreciate Hong Kong. So yeah, I also would really love to go back and just travel there, and like the house that my family used to live in, like generations of my family, the apartment building is still there. Magic Man says, I always wanted to go to Hong Kong and Tokyo. Where are some places I've always wanted to go? I mean, I've definitely always wanted to go to Iceland because, I mean, the volcanoes. As like a geology fan, I would love to see that. Maybe the Northern Lights, you know. Let's see. What else? What other places would I really like to go to? Hong Kong, of course, as I just mentioned. I want to go to Shanghai, and I want to go to Taiwan. Those are two other places I want to go. Australia. I forgot about that. I have a lot of family living in Australia, actually. A lot of family who immigrated there. So for me, my family immigrated basically to Hong Kong and Australia, and then from Hong Kong, a few people moved to Canada and also Australia. Oh, why did I do it this way? Like, hang on, it's time for the silicone fingertips to make a reappearance. Wait, this one's not fitting. I don't want to touch the hot glue. Okay, there we go. And quickly get these leaves on before it dries. I have like hot glue hair stuck to my face. Eugene says the thumbo? Is that another word for them? I just call them like silicone finger protectors. I've never heard like the actual product name for these. Eugene says, I just know I have family all over the globe. I think it's like mainly in a few locations. Yeah, I can't say I really have like all over the globe family. Something I would like to do sometime in my life is record a history of my family. At least from like just my grandmother's history, because it's something I really want to preserve for future generations of our family. And I already have some parts of it like written down, but you know, I feel like I could do more. Okay, if I add another flower here, it'll be symmetrical and then we can figure out the back. Okay, let's see. How much battery do I have left? Actually, a good amount. We have like 3/4 battery left. Oh, thimble, thimble. Thimble, yes. It's like a thimble. That's the word. Oh my goodness. You know, I wouldn't really call this a thimble. I guess it kind of is a thimble. Because you put it on your finger and it protects you. Jeremy says, Thimble Cheek second channel when? Oh my goodness. Imagine though, if I had Thimble Cheeks and it was like a sewing channel. But I would consider this to be a pretty useless thimble because I bet if I had a sharp object, it would just go right through because it's really thin. I don't know if you can see like the pink of my finger underneath this. See that? It's really thin. Thimble Cheeks music channel when? Oh my goodness. Y'all are wild. What was I thinking of? Yeah, no, this would be a bad thimble. This is like it's a finger glove. You can also find these under finger gloves, but this is a thicker finger glove for hot glue. Fun fact. Finger caught. Okay, we have 7 flowers here so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I need one more here, and then I think we'll be centered. Maybe. Yeah, this flower is the middle one. Like this one here. Okay. Eugene says, my dad had to use them for mechanical stuff. I saw somebody make these like really cursed candles out of finger cots. Like, it was so gross. Like they filled up the little finger cots with wax, and then they made little like hot dog shaped candles. Like they looked like little baby hot dogs. Because of the color of wax that they chose. Like, why was it so hot dog shaded? Like, yes, wire. I need more wire. This big old roll of wire here. So I'm going to clip a little bit off and then make a little loop using my pliers, but not too little of a loop because this stem is thicker than one would think it is. Yeah, like, I don't know. I thought that would have been too big, but it's a really snug fit. By the way, you guys, feel free to tell me if the camera is out of focus. If it is, I'll try to fix it. What kind of mechanical stuff did your dad need those for? Because I think, like, Jeremy says the camera's fine for me. Okay, good. Because in woodworking, I know, like, in some professions, gloves are really important, but in woodworking, it's actually a really big hazard to wear gloves because they could get caught in the machines. Bunny says, have you learned to sing any New Year songs? I mean, no. Wait, I do know that, like, I do know this, like, children's Chinese New Year song, kind of, but I don't remember the lyrics. Eugene says, it was manufacturing, I don't really remember. Eugene says, gong hei, gong hei. Yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's the one. Gong si, gong si, gong si, ni ya. Da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. Gong si, gong si, gong si, ni ya. Yeah, that's the Chinese New Year song. Eugene says, I don't really remember it all either. Yeah, I don't remember it. It's like, thinking about it unlocks kindergarten memories for me. Mariko says, Gong xi fa cai, I think. Yeah, that's it. I don't think it's a lyric to the song. Because that song is pretty repetitive and it, like, But that is a New Year's greeting, Margot. You have great memory. Okay, let's see. What? I Google searched something and it said that I have unusual traffic from my network. Okay. 每条大街小巷，每个人的嘴里见面的一句话就是恭喜恭喜，恭喜恭喜恭喜你呀，恭喜恭喜恭喜你，冬天已到尽头，真是好的消息，温暖的春风就要吹醒大地，恭喜恭喜恭喜你呀，恭喜恭喜恭喜你。I mean, Chinese New Year is... Marco says you should sing it in Cantonese as well. I don't know it in Cantonese. I only learned it in Mandarin. But yeah, basically it's about, like, you wish everyone well, and also winter is coming to an end because for Chinese New Year it's also like the spring festival. So yeah, that's like the new year starts in spring, even though it's not spring because the lunar calendar is weird. Yeah, so it goes on to talk about, you know, the snow melting and flowers blossoming. But yeah, that's a popular children's Chinese New Year song. You hear it a lot at Chinese grocery stores around this time of the year in both Cantonese and Mandarin. But yeah, definitely not close to spring here in Toronto. We just had like a blizzard. Yesterday was awful. All the roads shut down in a lot of places. Like it was kind of scary because I had family who couldn't just stay home. Like they needed to get to a certain location urgently. So yeah, that was like pretty hard. I was really nervous about them going out in that weather with the road conditions. Okay. What am I gonna do now? Okay, so, I think what I'm gonna do is rip this apart. I know. Let's see. And we'll take all of these sprigs off and glue them back down again, just like we did at the beginning. But yeah, 恭喜发财 is the greeting in, one second, I'm peeling glue off so I'm very focused. Okay, is the greeting in Mandarin, and then for Cantonese it's 恭喜發財. And I feel like my Mandarin pronunciation is a little bit off. But I'm trying my best. Eugene says I should go to sleep now. I have an early class tomorrow, German class. Good night, y'all. I hope you have an amazing rest of the stream. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, Eugene. Oh! Bunny says, oh, I didn't ask if you learned New Year's songs. Oh my goodness, right. It says, have you learned to sing any new songs? Oh, Island's Vibing. Thank you so much for the follow and welcome to the stream. We are making a flower crown. Let me show you. And by the way, Marco or anybody else who just showed up as well. Bunny says, but it might be only me who practices singing sometimes. I mean, I have songs that I kind of learned to sing, but you know, I don't really want to sing them on stream. Okay, this is the crown so far. Because I don't often sing songs that I'm not confident in on stream. Island's Vibing says, hi there, hello. I'm scared to put this on. It's like sticking to my head. Okay, I just have to, there we go. Jeremy says, I was supposed to learn the song that Kish requested, but I forgot what it was called. Oh no. Oh, it was Airplane Over the Sea by Neutral Milk Hotel. It's cute. Thanks so much, Island Vibing. Eugene says, here's some Chinese New Year songs before I go. I like completely misread your question though, Bunny, because because I have Chinese New Year on my mind. Like I just do. I'm really excited for February 1st. Okay, I made, one sec. I made this sign. That's what's been flashing behind me the whole time. It does have 2 S's. It's Dimple Cheeks with 2 S. And yeah. Because my Instagram is Dimple Cheeks with 2 S's. Like, everything is Dimple Cheeks with 2 S's. Except for Twitch, which is... It stresses me out sometimes that my Twitch is the only handle that's different out of everything else. But sometimes that's just how... Ouch! Excuse me, how dare! Excuse me! Hey! Hey, that's rude. How dare my hot glue gun just be there in that spot? Very rude. Very inconsiderate. Jeremy says, how dare. I love how that's my first reaction to getting burnt. It's not that bad of a burn, it just surprised me. But that was very rude. My hair is like, it feels messy because of the crown though. I didn't consider this. If I did, I would have worn like a wig cap or something. No, I feel like that would be worse because wig caps have like holes in it. So that the little wire pieces on the inside of this, like, they're like digging into my hair. Yeah, okay. Island Vibing says, I peeped your Instagram, you have a bunch of different styles. Yeah, thank you for noticing that. What was I doing before, like, I got so distracted? It's peeling glue here. Yeah, sorry if I scared any of you guys with my shrieking. I know this is supposed to be like a chill stream. Maybe I should change the tag from chill to energetic, but I don't think I have enough energy to commit to having like a bubbly stream. Like, I know that's a tag that you can have on Twitch, which is like chilled and bubbly, or like talkative or chatty, I think was the word. Oh, it's time to put my, it's time to put on my silicone finger protectors. Bunny says, but you're right, I should learn some Chinese New Year songs. To be honest, that rendition of Gong Xi Gong Xi was new for me because I have never heard the other lyrics besides the chorus before. Like, I never really learned it properly, so I mean, I guess I just learned any song. Island Vibing says, do you find you go in and out of different styles for periods of time, or do you just bounce around day to day? Sometimes I'll do a series and then I'll do that style for like the entire series. Even if I feel like deviating from it, I try to maintain that one style. Thanks for that question though, that's a really cool question. And then I think I do bounce around day to day. And then there's sometimes styles that are requested for certain commissions, so I'll do that. I do have like this old style, if you scroll back to like 2020 when I first started doing digital art, but I don't really draw like that much anymore, except for like in doodles. But yeah, nowadays I give my characters pupils. Or rather, irises. But yeah, I used to, I guess, really resent that I had the urge to draw in many different styles, because I was like, man, why can't I just be consistent like some of the other artists that I see around? And nowadays I just try to respect that I or I try to appreciate the fact that naturally I do draw in different styles according to my mood. Island Vibing says, are you more planned out or do you go with the flow? I think it really depends on the project. So, so for commissions, definitely more planned. Like definitely with my client, I go through several mock-ups, and I go through things like step by step. For my personal art, I'll plan a little bit, but a lot of the times I'll just jump into it. For this flower crown though, this is like, it's funny, the design was definitely more planned because I sketched it out first on stream a while ago along with the rest of the outfit. So I guess for crafts in some ways I'm more planned because crafts take a lot more materials and like time. Let me show you guys the dress actually that I'm making to accompany this, because I feel like we have a couple new people here today. So this is the dress. Hang on. It's like daisy printed, but I don't know how well you can tell. I'm gonna lift it. Here we go. The stand is a lot heavier than you would think because the base is solid cast iron. I almost burned myself on the glue gun again. I need to stop. Ew. Marco says, I actually found you from the Stardew Valley Cup. I really like your artworks. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, do you watch Brandigan's channel too? Because he was the one who I worked with on those artworks. But yeah, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, that was like one of my favorite projects ever. It was actually really crazy because I didn't expect to get the chance to do those art pieces. So it was like, it's like one of my favorite things I've ever done. That's a good memory. But yeah, I have this like horrible backlog of work that I need to post. It's just awful. Like, I think in some ways that's a good thing because it means I make a lot of work, but in other things it means I'm bad at social media. Marco says, I learned about the Stardew Valley Cup art from Lil Simsy. She was on the same team with Brandigan and she talked about you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember somebody tagged me and they were like, yo, Simsy posted you on Twitter. I also watch Simsy's videos like every day. Did you know that? Oh my goodness. This is kind of ridiculous to say, but we have the same half birthday. Like her birthday's I think August 5th. My birthday's February 4th, but like her birthday is about 6 months from my birthday. And I know that because the Sims birthday is February 3rd. I'm a big Sims fan. Yeah, but the Sims is February 3rd, and when there was like an update on it, she was like, oh yeah, that's my half birthday, you know? And I was like, ah, we were born in the same year, 6 months apart. No, I love Simsy. I don't know if this is like crazy fan level thing to mention, you know, like I watch her videos every day. I know when her birthday is. I know when her birthday is in relation to my birthday. But yeah, I'm so glad that that you found your way to my channel and that we can talk about The Sims and about languages. It's just really cool to meet you, Marco. That's my favorite thing about Twitch, being able to make new friends. I don't think, like, as an artist, like, doing freelance stuff, I feel like on a daily basis, I don't really have a lot of opportunities to socialize with people and, like, meet people. because it's not like I have an office or anything. I kind of just make art in my room, which is why I decided to stream, right? Oh! Island Vibing has gifted a sub to Marco. Thank you so much, Island Vibing. Wow. Thank you. Marco says, I'm so glad I finally caught a stream. You're a cool gal. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna die. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. That's all I've ever wanted to be in life. To be cool. Anyways, I was talking about that dress. Yeah, it's gonna have like puff sleeves. And it's gonna look cool with the flower crown because we have like this pale blue fabric with daisies on it. And then underneath that is gonna be like maybe 12 layers of petticoat, which is what's holding me up from finishing that dress. The layers and layers and layers of petticoats. Oh, Jeremy says, you should join the Discord if you haven't already. I have a command for that if you want to type that in. I have too many things on my keyboard. Island Vibing says, I stream here on Twitch. I'm trying to help people find their communities, and it feels like Marco belongs here, so it was an obvious gift. Aww. That's so cool, Island Vibing. What do you stream on Twitch? Marco says, I hate that Twitch is banned where I'm living now, so I can't sub. I'm trying to move to another country in April. I hope the plan works out. Good luck. Streaming is difficult. What? No. Moving is difficult. Streaming is fine. Streaming can be difficult, but I feel like moving is another level of difficult. Oh, thanks so much for shouting out Island Vibing, Jeremy. Ha! Now Jeremy does the bot stuff and I don't have to do anything. Island Vibing says, I do a talk show. We spotlight streamers from around Twitch. That's so cool. Hang on. I'll have to check you out because that sounds really interesting. I've never seen it. I've never watched any of the Twitch talk shows before. Okay, you know what? I'll do this. I'll follow you after the stream because I got a lot of stuff on my keyboard. I have a horrible habit of just putting stuff here. Thank you for the shout out. No, of course. It's always cool to support other channels. Oh, Island Vibing says, I'd like to reach out to you about being a part of our show if you don't mind. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, you can send me a DM on Discord if you want, or on like Twitch if it's more convenient that way, and we can talk about that a bit more. Oh, Marco, enjoy your emotes! I need to make more emotes. Like, the cool thing about being an art streamer is you get to make everything yourself. You'll join the Discord? Okay. And the crappy thing about being an art streamer is you have this obligation to make everything yourself, because if you don't, like, what kind of art streamer are you? Jeremy says that would be so cool. Yeah, I'm really excited. Marca says, bye Dimple and chat, it's lunchtime for me now, so I gotta go. See you later. Bye! Have a great lunch. Enjoy your meal, and hopefully I'll see you around soon. Okay. I can barely focus. I'm really excited. New friends. Okay. Dimple, you gotta focus here. You gotta focus and wrap the wire. Not dig the wire into your finger. Not like that. Okay. Why did I think this was going to be easy? Like, it's not turning out that way. What's fiddly about it is trying not to get like these sprigs of flowers bent in, because I don't want them to be flattened. Or maybe I do, you know? Maybe I do want these to be more low profile. Maybe... It's just because the wire is so difficult to bend. Which is good, because it means it's going to be very sturdy, but it's bad because my poor fingers. Jeremy says, nobody said it was easy. No one ever said it would be this hard. I wanted to do like to come up with a lyric for Let's Take It Back to the Start, but say something about art, but I couldn't think of one. It's hard to glue and think at the same time. I'm not even gluing anything right now. See what I mean? About it being hard to think and do things at the same time. Can't multitask. Island Vibing says, I have to head out for now. Looking forward to chatting. Yeah. All right. I'm looking forward to your message. Jeremy says, what about take it back now, y'all? No. All right. You have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. I hope you have some time to rest. Island Vibing. What the heck am I doing? All the flowers are tangled in the wire and this fell off. How dare. Like, actually though, I don't need it. I didn't need you anyways. I don't know, it just feels like I'm wrestling with this piece. Like it's just... I'm wrestling and the foliage is winning. Imagine losing to a plant. Island Vibing says, it's EST here, so it's pretty late. It's EST for me too. Yeah. I'm a pretty late streamer. On some days, and then on other days I stream in the afternoon. I'm upset about how tough this is. Like, my fingers are just not happy about it. Okay, and I tuck in the end of the wire to try to make it as low profile as possible. Okay. Let me grab this and maybe try to pinch that wire even tighter. Hopefully not pinch myself in the process. So I'm just grabbing this. Come on. E. I'm making a little loop here, which you cannot see, I realize, and tightening the wire. Like I basically gathered all the excess wire into a loop and I'm just flattening that down as best as I can. Oh my goodness. Back when I was working for my college, we had to do like asbestos training because our school had asbestos in it. And if you don't know, it's a construction material that's incredibly toxic to inhale. Luckily, most of it was locked into our tiles and in the insulation and stuff. But, you know, unfortunately, one second, I'm busy. Unluckily, our school was kind of falling apart. Like my college was kind of falling apart. And there was like asbestos leaking out of the cracked tiles and the cracked walls. So as employees of the school, we were like legally obligated to do like asbestos safety. And I would keep making this joke, like, as I was doing the training, I would be like, I'm doing as best as I can. Good. How about another sip of tea? Thank you very much. I do need a break from wrestling with this wire. Oh no, I'm choking. I like how I announced that I was choking before I started choking. Anyways, Bunny says, I grabbed my first cup of coffee. Oh, good morning to you, Bunny. I need to remember that I'm not supposed to breathe when I'm drinking my water. Oh my goodness, Cremoka, happy birthday! We still have 20 official minutes of your birthday. Let's all sing to Cremoka wherever we are. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Cremoka. Happy birthday to you. I hope you had a really special day. Well, what did you do today? Aww. You did? Oh my goodness. Did you eat anything delicious? Okay, how am I supposed to attach this wire? Okay, what I'm gonna do is maybe a loop. And I'll make like a long spring-shaped structure. And then I'll crush the spring. I realized that you can't see this. Cremoka says, I ate cupcakes, I took pictures, and I dealt with school. You know what? I feel like it's almost better to have, like, this is my bold take. Better to have your birthday on a school day, because then you can go to school and like tell everyone it's your birthday. I always liked when my birthday was on a school day. Cremoka says it sucks when you have tests on your birthday though. Did you have a test on your birthday? How dare. Oh well. hopefully it wasn't like too stressful of a school day. How dare is my catchphrase for this stream. I think it just is. Ever since I set it to my glue gun, it's just been stuck in my head. You have tests tomorrow too? Ew. Jeremy says tests, let's call them celebrations of learning. Maybe for you. I won't. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good method of securing the wire to this. Ew, it's not in focus. Okay. Wow, look at that zoomed in action. So I did this spring shaped wire, like I did a coil, and then I took my pliers and flattened the coil, and as you can see, it's like really in there. Like this is not going anywhere. And now I can attach this anywhere along the flower crown that I want. This zoomed in view is kind of good though. Hang on. I don't know why I didn't have you guys this zoomed in from the start. You'll learn as you go. So, okay, gotta remember that if I use my tools that I have available to me, my fingers will be a lot less tired. You know what I really liked though? Math tests. Mainly because I made it a little tradition for myself, or like a little reward, that if I finished the test early, I would allow myself to draw on it. And so, you know, I would just be like, I tried to make it into something I looked forward to instead of something I was like too nervous about. And anyways, I went to tutoring outside of school, so I did pretty good on in-school math, even though, like, I'm not very naturally good at the logic it takes for math. I find it to be extremely abstract, so when I learn math, I try to make it as concrete as possible, as tangible as possible, and then it makes more sense. Like, the less abstract it is, the better I can do. Kremoka says, math is really fun sometimes. Yeah, it can be for sure. Like, I really used to enjoy math because once it clicked, it like really clicked, and then I could apply it to anything. But that like week of struggle learning, like, I don't know, the quadratic formula and like stressing over it, sometimes that can be really hard. Because like that time before it clicks, when it doesn't make any sense, you're just like, I will never understand this. You know? I ended up using a surprising amount of math. Oh, Jeremy says, I still occasionally have nightmares about math exams. I feel like I need to sneeze. Ew. Yes, I am wiping my nose with paper towel. I don't have tissue paper here. Kremoka says, bless you, thank you. Aww. You know what helps me sneeze when I have like a sneeze that's stuck? I look at a really bright light, but now I have like the after images of the light printed on my eyes. Okay, so I'm making a little loop in this wire right now. And for, I think, the 8th time today, I'm sticking it here. I'm gonna have dents in my fingers, like in my nails, when I'm done this. I know some girls who are like really protective of their fingernails and they get their nails done and everything, but every time I try to give myself a manicure, I always ruin it, and like it just doesn't last, and it also chips off onto things. Now that I have cats, one of the things I'm especially worried about when it comes to nail polish is giving them treats and they eat some of my nail polish by accident. Like, because it chips. Like, that's one of my like weird fears. I feel like it's warranted though. I feel like it's definitely a thing that could happen. They have sharp teeth and my nail polish is constantly chipping. But yeah, I just have a really bad habit of like using my nails for everything. I knew girls who I was in like furniture school with, and they literally had like beautiful manicures all the time. They would get gel ones though, so it would like last a lot longer. Oh yeah, Cremoka, you wanna see my sign? Wait. Ta-da! Do you like it? Do you like it? I really like it. It's so exciting to have this sign. Jazz hands. Cremoka says, wow, that's so pretty. Yeah, hang on. I can do a thing. Wait, where's my remote control? Oh my goodness, my desk is a nightmare. There's like hot glue everywhere. It's so messy. I don't know where I put the remote. What did I do to it? That's fine. There's another spare remote in the box. Aw. Jeremy says it's lit. Okay. Gonna pull this out, turn. I can make it do things. Wait, hang on. I can make it flash. This one's my favorite. Bunny says hella lit. Oh! Jeremy has gifted a sub to Cremoka. Wow, what a birthday gift. Enjoy your emotes. Jeremy says, I got inspired by Island Vibing Presents. Yeah, by the way, you guys, Island Vibing Presents runs a talk show for Twitch streamers, so I'm pretty excited to check out their channel. Look at you and all the emotes. Wow, I need to make more. I need to make more emotes. By the way, what kind of cupcakes did you have? I think what I might do with this is wrap it in green ribbon, or at least green floral tape, you know, because I don't know if you can tell, but like, I don't know if anyone is going to be able to see, but this, like, this is not the aesthetic that I want. Dang it, I lost track of where I was attaching the flower now. I can't find, okay. Was it here? I think it was this one. I'm trying to go in and basically, ooh, yikes. Basically turn in every wire that's sticking out. I don't know if you can see that, but I just gotta take my pliers, make that into a loop, and tuck it in as best as I can, because this will hurt a lot less than the raw end of a wire. Okay, let's see. I think I'll put down one more flower just over here, and that will be it for the daisies. And then I'll think about putting down some leaves. Think about it. No, maybe like 2 more daisies, I don't know. Because, hang on, where's the center? I think this is the center here, where there's like a trio of daisies, like 1, 2, 3. So if this is the center, then this is the center directly behind. And then we have like pretty much equal on the U shape here and here. And then if we have 3 flowers and this one's aligned to the front center, then it'll be perfect on the back. I just want it to be, you know, kind of symmetrical back to front. Whoa, okay, we don't need to zoom out that much. But it kind of looks a bit bald here and here. You know, like it feels like there's a bald patch here. But I don't think we need that many more flowers in that spot. Like it looks fine from this end. And I guess we have options, right? We have an option for like a lighter flower crown on this end and like a heavier flower crown on the front. It's really difficult to try to align the crown to the camera because the camera's just here. It's in like a really weird spot. If I move it closer to myself, I think it's easier to show you things. Okay, we snip off another piece of wire. We'll do some flower dissection. Peel the flower apart. Cool, okay. So here's a fun fact about these flowers. Originally they were covered in this like yellow dust and they had like fuzzy centers, which is really cute for flowers in a vase, but if you do flowers like on your head, I really didn't want that yellow dust to get in my eyes and stuff. So I took Mod Podge, which is like a varnish. It's a glue. And then I glued everything down. So now this is really, like this is really stiff. Hang on, if I press my thumbs into it, it'll leave a little like wrinkly imprint. Hang on, let me show you how stiff the flower center. Yeah, there you go, okay. Look at that, like it's wrinkly. I don't know why I'm so intent on showing you like how stiff the flower middles are when you have glue on them. Like I don't know why this is such a big priority to me, but I just really want you guys to know how well the powder is glued down. Okay, so, hang on, you can barely see that. I'm gonna do a little zoom in of this. Okay, so we put the wire down first, maybe a bit more snug. just a touch though. Yeah, that fits perfectly. And we put that down and we put some glue all over the whole thing. And then we put down this green base. I forget what that part of the flower is called. Wow, it's been like 3 hours and we've only used 1 stick of hot glue. We've been doing really well with the hot glue. I have like a pack of 100 here and I've used 2. Okay, so yeah, you make this kind of sandwich with the hot glue in the fabric. And then the wire just kind of sticks out. Jeremy says impossible. Yeah, I'm pretty proud. Jeremy says you're supposed to use hot glue like hotcakes or something like that. Yeah, I have a funny story about that. So back in 5th grade, there was this kid who he decided to make a boat out of hot glue, like completely out of hot glue with no underlying structure, because like he didn't have to buy the hot glue, our teachers supplied it for us. And then he proceeded to use like 5 packs of hot glue building a ship. Like he didn't just build a little rowboat, no. He built like a whole ship out of hot glue. It was bad. Like, it was a big waste. And it didn't even look that good. Like, he was like laughing the entire time because it didn't look that good. And then he made like the sail out of hot glue and everything. And then our teacher came up to him and he's like, what are you doing with all the hot glue I bought? You know? Like, now nobody else in the class has enough hot glue. Like, why do you keep coming up to me and asking me for more when this is what you're doing? You're not even building the project I assigned you, you know? Ouch! That wire is pretty sharp. So I did touch on this a little while ago, but you know, we had a blizzard here. And there was like a ton of snow that was piled up against our door, so when we opened the door, snow got in the house for a sec, which is normal. But what's not normal, or what I find to be highly strange, is that my littlest cat, Colby, hang on, how do I explain this? Like, there was a puddle on the ground and he was eating, and then he just like sat in the puddle, just like directly in the puddle. Like his whole butt, his whole tail was soaking because of the puddle, and he just kept eating. Like he didn't even flinch, but he had just sat in like freezing cold snow water. So like, what? You know? Colby will literally eat rocks sometimes, like without hesitation. Like there'll be a pebble on the floor and he'll just try to eat it, and he'll have to prise it out of his jaws. I don't pretend to understand Colby. So yeah. That's me pouring myself a cup of tea. And like the thing is, I know he's smart because he's proven that he's smart. So it's not just like, haha, he's not very smart. He is very smart. He just makes these choices that I don't understand. I will never understand why he eats rocks. Yeah, I need to make a Colby emote. There's my other pair of pliers, excuse me. I found the other remote control though. Yeah, the hungry rusty emote, except with a rock. Okay, let me try this on. I feel like I'm done, but I might want to add some extra like leaves in, but I don't know if that's entirely necessary. I don't know if it's like a bit much if I add in the leaves, you know? Maybe like a smaller size. Like, is that too much? Whoa, the leaves are just peeling off. These are pretty bad quality leaves. Whoa, look at that. It's like coming apart. That's not good. Ew. Maybe we don't need like a backing on the leaves. Maybe that just makes it worse. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna say that this crown is reversible. So there's like a front that can be really extravagant if you want it to be, and I'm afraid to put it on my head because I know it's just gonna get stuck in my hair again and yank some out. Like, this crown is supposed to be like, you're supposed to put it on and then not take it off for a while. Not put it on and take it off and put it on and take it off, because like it's gonna pull my hair out and I'm scared. Come on, just let's adjust that. Yeah, I like that. Hang on. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, that's good. That's what I wanted. I like that. Okay. I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. Ah! I hate that. I hate how that feels. It's like so uncomfortable. So if I wanted like a more thin and dainty flower crown look, what I could do is flip that around and wince as I feel it tugging at my hair. Jeremy says, is there a way to make it so it won't catch on your hair? I think the way to make it is not take it off. It's just like, what I mean is like when you repeatedly put it on and adjust it, it like catches. But then if it were to just sit on your hair, I think it's fine. I just don't think you're supposed to move it that much. But this entire time I've just been adjusting it. Like even just moving it a bit like this is fine. But if I like lift it off my head, it's gonna pull my hair out. So the hope is, right? Like I put it on at the beginning of the day and I don't take it off until the end of the day. And it's quite comfortable. It's like not overly tight, but it fits quite snugly. But yeah, if I want like a less full flower crown look, I think I could have it this way and it would be fine. But it feels a little naked here, so do you see like the hair that's lifted out of my ponytail here? That's so annoying. Just take my hair clip and smooth this back. And I was so proud of this ponytail too, because I managed to get it like good and smooth. Okay. Yeah, so it does, I was right, it does feel a little like naked in these sections. It's a little bald, so not quite reversible. What I'm gonna do about that is grab some more of these little sprigs, do my little flattening a spring trick is what I'm gonna call it, and just stick them in here and fill this out. But maybe because there's more of it, you know, we won't have to individually attach them as much. Maybe I can just, you know, stagger them kind of into this shape where it like, see those ends, they're not completely aligned. Okay. Let's zoom in for this. Cool, okay. So I kind of want to align it like like this. Oh my goodness, it's so hard. You know, today I'm gonna put lights in this, like on stream. I'll have to run over to the next room to grab them, but I think we can. Okay, let's bundle these together. I forgot I was that zoomed in. Hang on, I don't think we need that. If we bundle it, and then we take this and wrap it around. And then just kind of curl the end up. Maybe stuff the end into like one of these stems. Oh, that's pretty good. Do you see how this end is like tucked up in there? I like that. That means that there's no way that wire can possibly poke through and maim me. Jeremy says the lights will be so next level. Yeah, for me, I'm the kind of person that wants everything to light up. Okay, this is already gonna be much better. Oh my goodness. It's just kind of finicky and frustrating to push all the petals aside as you wrap the wire around. Like, I don't find this part to be particularly enjoyable. Okay, there we go. Yeah, sometimes like the tripod is just difficult for me to lock and unlock the camera from. That's what I was having the issue with. Bunny says you're really gonna light up the show, Dims. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, just a little bit more about this show. It's a really awesome event hosted by Raw Artists called Generate. So basically there's gonna be artists from all different fields, local Toronto artists. At this event, there's gonna be musicians, there's gonna be a fashion show, there's makeup artists, and visual artists like me. Then there's other stage performances, so you have dance, you probably have some acting, probably some stand-up as well. And there's gonna be some film screenings as well, short film screenings. So there's a little bit of everything in terms of the arts, all in one awesome event. And the best thing about it is it's actually accessible for everybody globally, no matter where you live. There's a live stream that's exclusive to ticket holders only. And that's how you can watch the show. I'll have a video segment there as well, but like the performance stuff and the fashion design stuff is really well commentated. There's gonna be a host, and I'm sure they'll take the camera and like walk around the venue as well. So even if you're not like there, you'll still be able to participate in the show and support me as well. Okay, hang on, let me load this battery in. Oh, no. That doesn't feel right. Okay. Yeah, I have like camera batteries off screen that I'm just like switching out throughout the stream. What I really need is like an AC adapter for my camera so that I can just plug it into the wall and not have to worry about this anymore. Okay. Oh boy. So we have this sprig of flowers over here. Like, okay, I'm trying to avoid having too many bumps. Like, you see that? There's like a clump of things there. So I don't know what I'm gonna do to make this flat to my head. What I might do is after I wrap everything in floral tape, which is green tape, I might glue like a green ribbon backing behind this, like a satin ribbon backing, so that it really minimizes the amount that this is gonna catch on my head. I'll probably do that tomorrow though. Okay. Let's add a few more sprigs. There's like another bald spot here and like another bald spot here, kind of. I'm really gonna only add those sprigs over to the back, because if I really want this to be reversible, right, we need to have that volume. Okay, cute little bit of baby's breath. You know what's funny? Real life baby's breath doesn't really look like this. It's more, each bloom is a bit more fluffy. But I'm kind of glad they didn't go that route, because normally when you see artificial baby's breath, they have like styrofoam dipped flowers, like plastic flowers, and I think that would just be a pain to use, because like the little bits of styrofoam would just shed everywhere, which is not ideal. I can't unravel this wire. I'm at like a really weird point with it. Okay. All right, let's grab this section of wire. I'm gonna zoom in as I do this part. Wait, I just want to move the camera over. Cool, okay. And try to keep it from timing out. I'm nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous. Like, why did I suddenly activate my fight or flight response? Hey, it's because I wanted to keep it on camera and I wasn't able to. Okay. Now we use pliers. You know what I could do? No, I shouldn't cut these off, because this is keeping the flowers from, like, this is keeping the wire from sliding off this big lump here. So I shouldn't cut them off. Yeah, I thought I would be like hot gluing the flowers to the crown, but I'm really glad I decided not to, because I feel like this plastic doesn't stick very well to hot glue, because there were a few things that I tried to glue together and like it didn't really stick very well. Oh my goodness. Come on, just roll and tuck so that I don't stab myself. Come on, get in there. Okay. Let's peel off all these little bits of glue. Whoop. Okay, and see there's a bald spot here, and we'll just attach that in there. I'm so glad I used up pretty much all of the baby's breath, because I didn't know what I was going to do with it if I didn't manage to get it all into this crown. I mean, I'm sure I would have found something for it, but I didn't want to spend that much money on it, so I didn't buy a lot. Let me tell you, crafting is a very expensive hobby. Like, you do sewing, you end up buying so much more than you think you're gonna need. Even though you're like, ha, I'm gonna save so much money by making this dress. Well, you're gonna need like a new sewing machine foot attachment, all these supplies, you know. Even though the fabric costs just a little bit, all those extra supplies that you didn't think about in your budget, they all add up a lot. Okay, that's pretty cute. I like that. So yeah, making things yourself, if you get too into it as a hobby, it does not end up saving you money. Like, if you make something yourself out of necessity and you're really strict with your budget, it'll help save money. If you like are making something for the joy of making things, you really need a budget for that. That's my tip from one crafty person to another. Oh my goodness, okay. How am I gonna anchor this wire? I'm gonna try to wrap those nubs as much as possible. My voice is getting softer because my hands hurt. But yeah, I'm trying to wrap these as tight as I can just to make them like really low profile, and just yanking that wire as far as it'll go. Okay, awesome. Now, where is the starting point for this thing? Is it like gone? Okay, cool. Yeah. That's secure, that's not going anywhere. Okay, and I have, I suppose, one more bald spot to take care of, although I can't even find it. I think it was supposed to be this one. How many little flower pieces do I have left? It looks like I have 3. Looks like I have 3. Maybe I have more somewhere. I don't know. Bunny says, there's a gray zone between a hobby and a job. I mean, I think it's pretty clear cut. A hobby is something you do for fun. A job is something that makes you a living. And then there's the combined part, but I think like the difference between those terms is pretty clear. Now, my hobby is my job. Like, I get paid to do it, but, you know, it's just when it comes to the definition of the two words, it's pretty clear cut. Like, they're two halves of the same Venn diagram, you know what I mean? Like, they're the two sections of the Venn diagram, and then there's that overlapping part. But those two circles, overlapping circles, I think they're well defined. That's what I mean. You know what's really funny? I just noticed that this here, it says you're supposed to cut that. Like, this is not supposed to be here. I've been using this roll of wire wrong the entire time. Like, you're just supposed to be able to unravel it. You don't have to, like, pass the wire through the center. I don't know what I've been doing. This roll of wire is pretty old. I think I remember using it for something on my 9th birthday, so it's probably from my 9th birthday. Okay. Yeah, Jeremy's right. Maybe I should take a break to give my hands a rest. But maybe I won't. Jeremy says instructions. Who needs them? It's their fault for printing it like in black on black. Like, there's no label that tells you to do that. But hang on, how was I supposed to read this? I don't have good eyesight even with my glasses. Right there. Can you see that? Can you see that little scissor icon? Because I could barely see it until just now. Patent pending. This is why your patent is pending. Because it's bad. Bunny says, oh, Jeremy has redeemed Stretch for 300 channel points. Jeremy says, no, I can't see it. Yeah. What is that? What is that? It's like, hang on. I'll just, I don't want to take a break. I'm gonna take a sip of water and then do the stretch. I'll do the stretch. Thank you so much for the stretch redemption. I know it's good for me. Bunny says, sometimes I feel like I spend too much time and money on a hobby to not get paid. Yeah. The way I see it, though, is like, as long as you're living within your means, I don't think it's a waste of time to do something you enjoy. I mean, Albert Einstein said it, it's not a waste of time if you enjoy it, you know? I think that was an Einstein quote, and if it's not, it's a Dimple Cheeks quote, you know? Not a waste of time if you enjoy something. And then if it's like, if you think about like money, right? It's only if like live within as long as you're not struggling with like your bills, right? Who's to say how to spend your money? Jeremy says it is a quote by Albert D. Einstein. Hey, Lamau, I remembered right. But yeah, Bunny, you live your best life. All of power to you. I think having a hobby you're passionate about is important. Is an important part about like being a human. I think it's a good thing to have something you're passionate about. Like, I know some people who don't have hobbies. Ah! Jeremy says Albert Dimple Cheeks Einstein, you got me there. Anyways, but yeah, I know some people who don't have hobbies and like they don't have anything they're passionate about. And yeah, I think it is not a, I don't know. This is gonna sound mean. I just don't particularly enjoy spending time with them because all they do is work and they're not passionate about their job and they also don't have a hobby. Spills tea and then sips tea. Okay, I'm gonna turn on my face cam and we're gonna do some stretches. Where did it sits down immediately. Let me turn on the lights so that they flash as I do my stretches. Okay. I can't see myself because the camera's in the way, so I'm just gonna go for it. I feel weird. Move her out of the way. But yeah, I'm gonna get a couple more light packs. Jeremy says, oh yeah, I got that photosynthesis flowing. It's really weird for me to be reaching over to the right side of the screen and like it mirrors. I can't handle it. I'm a big baby about it. Oh my goodness, my back is so stiff. I haven't stretched for a while. This is genuinely so painful. Wait, I hate this. Ow. Okay. Fine. Okay, I really needed this. When I do this, I like to try to pop my hip out to one side as I fold. Rui says, it's been at least 3 hours since you stretched. You are right. But probably more than that. You know, my back is really tight. It's not good. So yeah, thanks for the stretch redeem, Jeremy, because if you didn't remember, I would not have. Wow, look at that strobing effect. Does everything hurt so much? Okay, cool. Cool. Gonna go down to hand cam and pour another glass of tea. I don't know why I said glass. This is not a glass. Okay, awesome. Funny says, I'm not a big Albert Einstein person. Oh my goodness, that was such a good wire tuck. Okay. Huh. I feel like this is done. I feel like this is probably done. Jeremy says, are you a big person though? All I wanna do is see you turn into a giant woman. Giant woman. All I wanna be is someone who gets to see a giant woman. Oh, I know it would be great, but I just can't wait to see the person you are together. You give it a chance, you could do a big dance because you are a giant woman. You might even like being together, and if you don't, it won't be forever. But if it were me, I'd really wanna see a giant woman. Giant woman. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm looking for gaps to put this one last flower into, and I think I might put it here. But if it were me, I'd really wanna be a giant woman. Okay, wait, I'm gonna turn off that strobing effect because it's messing with me. All right, but yeah, I've been thinking about this all stream, and like, Bunny says small person on earth, large person inside. Aww. Large heart. Okay, so I'm gonna show you my patent pending spring technique. So you interlock this here, and then you rotate the flower around until the stem is caught in the spring, all the way until the top. Hang on, I made a sealed circle. I need to unseal the circle. Right? So the flower is in the coil now. And then now you take a pair of pliers and you very elegantly mash the spring. I need a bigger pair of pliers. It's like not fitting. There we go. Now that's what I call mashed. Okay. The problem with this, right, is it's a multi-tool, so it doesn't have that kind of spring in the middle that makes the pliers spring door open. So I have to wrap my hand around it like this and do this. You know, it's kind of hard to get this multi-tool to open. So yeah, here you go. tools, am I right? Jeremy says, okay, that's enough Tetris for one night. I had no idea you've been playing Tetris this whole time. Something about this, man, like, something about this project is just making me sneeze. I don't even remember where that bald spot was, like if I could find it. I think it was here. Jeremy says, I've been sprinting for the last 2 hours. Oh my goodness. Not even in the lobby. Yo, the other night I had a dream I was on J-Estrus and they had like pets. Like Neopets, but on J-Estrus. Jeremy says, had some good times, but no new PB. I figured that if you got another PB, you would have told me. Jeremy says, what did the pets do? So you know with the J-Estrus chat, you could send your pets into the chat and then they would like emote for you as you sent your messages. So I mean, I guess they had some functionality. Instead of Tetris, it's Petrus. Jeremy says you should tell Jez to implement that. I don't know, I was kind of cursed because the pets were like not very cute. I don't know. I thought they were kind of tacky, but I feel like they could be implemented in a cute way for sure. Oh my goodness, there's like so many hard pieces all over this thing. Okay, I'm gonna feel around the inside for anything protruding. Like, whoa, 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 this just came off. Hey, I didn't give you permission to escape. Hey now. No. Where is it? Where is it? It escaped! You know what I think it is? I think it's that fake pollen stuff. Hang on. See that on my finger? That was the stuff I was trying to glue down. You know what? Yeah, I think that's what it is. Jeremy's gonna be right back? Okay. I had another revelation about my dream. About the Tetris pets, so I think I'll wait till he comes back. Okay, I don't know, you can see this, like I'm trying to tie these down because I think they're a bit much. As in like they're sticking out too much and they need to go. Come on. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I think we don't have any other sections really sticking out on the inside. Once I add like a ribbon band, this should be good. I really like this flower crown. And I will be right back with some string lights. I'll be right back. Oh, never mind. I didn't really have to go far. They are right here. Okay. Ooh. Ah. Ding. Look at that. Look at that. Look at all those lights. I'm so happy. Okay, so how am I gonna do this? So I don't want to attach this permanently because I'm still gonna have to wrap it in floral tape. So I'm just gonna very loosely wrap the lights around just for show purposes. And I think I might want like 2 strands of lights in here, maybe even 3, judging by like the spacing of the lights and everything. Oh my goodness, this is, wait, I don't want to, I give up, I don't want to wrap it around right now. Let's think of a better way to do this without it getting super tangled, because I can see this getting tangled. I just want to do this for like testing and show purposes first. Just so that you guys can have the gratification of seeing my crown light up. But yeah, I don't want the lights to be trapped in here when I put the floral tape in. The lights are way brighter in person though. Like, I think it's just because they don't. Okay. Yeah, so I think it's because they just don't show up as well because the lights here are really bright and then the camera exposure is high too, so they're just getting kind of washed out. But the lights are pretty bright in person, gotta say. Okay, how can I anchor this so that it's like temporary but it still looks good? Okay. I don't think this falls under the category of temporary but looks good. Like, this is temporary and tangled. Okay, I'm gonna do a thing. Do not advise tangling your lights like this, but I'm gonna add another strand. Why is this one so much bright? It's brighter because all of the lights are in one place, Dimple. Why is this one so much brighter? Literally because they're all in the same spot. Because when I spread it out, it'll be the same brightness. Whoa, it's all stuck together. I love when everything gets stuck like that. Okay. Okay, let me just grab this and woo. Okay, let's tuck all the lights in. I might even do 4 strands of lights if I'm feeling a bit crazy, but you know, I want to do 3 at least. Because this is not as bright as I want it to be, you know? It's not wowing me. I need more. If I'm not extra, I will die. You know, like Tinkerbell, how if she doesn't get attention, she literally dies? That's how I feel about this project. So I'm gonna do this in a very different way when I'm actually wearing it. What I plan to do is maybe twist the lights so that it's like that. I don't know if you can see that. Like this. And then I can have like little sticks of lights coming out. If that makes sense, like little light slivers. Because I think when the lights aren't covered by the flowers, they look quite nice. Jeremy says, are those the lights? They are, yeah. I'm just temporarily attaching them on. This is not going to be like the finished light look. Because I do want to cover everything in like wire, well, not wire, in floral tape before I let the lights get all tangled up in there. So I'm very loosely applying them, just wrapping them around. So this is what it looks like so far. Actually, it's pretty cool. Like you can kind of get the vibe of it. I think the lights stand out the most when they're not hidden under the flowers though. So I'm gonna come up with a way to install them. Jeremy says it hurts to type. Oh yeah, one last thing about the Tetris pet dream that I had. I just realized the reason the pets came off as like not that cute and not that nice is, you know, like the general nature of JStra's chat when like really, like when it gets a little crazy, like people were using the pets to emote really interesting things. So that's why I didn't like them. Yeah, not actually because they were tacky or like not cute. It's just because like the conversation was tacky and not cute, and I remember like the pets like making mean faces and stuff. Yeah, so with like, you know how the chat gets to the point where like you have to cover it on your stream to keep your stream family friendly. Yeah, like it's like that in like, yeah, typical default room chat, but with like animated emotes. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to Just Phase. Wow, look at my camera over here, just hanging out. Okay, and we're gonna try to put this on. Okay, wait, before I commit, I gotta make sure that it's centered. Okay. You know what? The fact that there are so many protruding pieces means that this is gonna stick really well to my head. Yeah, I really like when, where is this? I really like when the wire comes out like that. So I'm gonna try to do that in a way that looks pretty and intentional. Oh my goodness, it looks like I have earrings. Look at the little battery packs dangling down. Okay. Let's just push this onto my head. And I will not take this off at the end of the stream because, no, I refuse to. But hey, this is pretty cute. I like this. can't figure out which side of my face is which. This is confusing. I'm trying to fix my hair. Okay, one sec. Let's go back to hand cam. Okay, cool. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there's definitely some parts that are digging in, and we can make that a little less painful with some satin ribbon. It's a good snug fit. I don't feel like this is going to be falling off my head anytime soon, but it's not overly tight. Yeah, there we go. I have my light up flower crown. I'm going to turn off some of my lights just so that you guys can get a better look at how it glows. So there you go. Yeah, it's like, it's glowing. Hang on, let me turn off another light. Okay. But yeah, you can see, it's like, this lighting is horrible. You can see it's like shining. Hey! I'm so happy. But yeah, here we go. This is what it looks like. Yeah. No, I said I wasn't gonna take it off. I was gonna, Do you think there would be a way to show my head in the hand cam? Yeah, this is what it looks like. Jeremy says, you know that one song I do? Which one? I don't know if you sing Daisy Daisy. When did you leave heaven? Aw, it looks angelic. Thank you. I'm so happy. Like, it's gonna look really good with that dress in the background, I tell ya. I'm really excited for that dress to come along. I'm saying now. Yeah, I forgot, if I have to turn off my camera, I need to unplug my camera too. Jeremy says, wait, were you talking to someone off camera and I wasn't paying attention? I was talking to you guys the whole time. It was really dumb. Yeah, you know what? I did a whole spiel about... Yeah. It wasn't that cool. Whatever. I did a whole spiel about, like, the camera. So I was talking about the camera while the camera was off. Jeremy says, I was listening to In the Airplane Over the Sea, so I didn't notice right away. Don't worry about it. I was talking about how I didn't need to have the camera on or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I've never done, like, this kind of project on stream before, so this was really cool. I mean, it's been a while since I made a flower crown at all, like, even in real, like, even off stream. So yeah, this was really interesting and fun. If not a little painful for my fingers, you know, but worth it. Yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. I hope you have some time to rest, relax, do something you guys enjoy, and I will see you next time. I'll be live again on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, bye, you guys!